Men in clean uniforms patrol the courthouse square, weapons resting loosely across saddles. Black citizens gather quietly, adjusting tools into defensive positions without speaking aloud. A sheriff steps forward, ledger in hand, issuing orders with clipped authority, eyes scanning the crowd. Voices rise from porches as armed men confer, nodding at directions given without hesitation. Local militia forms ranks, boots striking dirt, tension rolling through their measured steps. Families watch from windows, unknowing, lamps casting long shadows into empty streets. The assumption holds, authority will remain uncontested because fear has gone untested. But a messenger rides fast, bread broken, delivering word that resistance is organized and intentional. Officials lean forward, exchanging glances that sharpen into quick commands. Black defenders adjust stances, noting every facial expression, every tightened jaw, every twitch of a weapon. Orders cascade outward with speed. Men moving silently through alleys and fields. A horse rears, under sudden command. Saddled riders scanning for reaction. Doors open quietly to reveal familiar faces, carrying unspoken resolve. One clerk reaches for a pistol while another scribes notes, the ledger serving as background context. Shadows shift across the courthouse. Facade, bodies moving in synchronization, unseen by distant observers. The belief in one-directional control begins to falter under the weight of preparation. Hands grip rifles, muskets, and clubs with precision, testing weight and balance. Children watch adults with curiosity tempered by caution, learning which sounds invite punishment. Church bells chime, not for worship, but as markers of attention, coordinating action. A white landowner steps onto the porch, confident, etched in posture. Assuming silence indicates submission. The black militia observes patterns, noting habits, timing, and routes used nightly by the authority. A rider bolts down the street, delivering intelligence that shifts the tactical landscape. Armed men converge near the courthouse gates, faces taut with anticipation rather than fear. An agreement broken decades earlier resonates through whispered warnings among organizers. Officials consult quickly, hands moving. Notes discarded as immediacy overtakes procedure. Tools once used for labor are repurposed as instruments of strategy and defense. Gates swing open silently, revealing a coordinated presence rather than chaos. Riders circle the perimeter, scanning for alignment, testing reactions with subtle movements. Families continue dinner unaware, lamplight masking the gathering storm outside. A clerk notes departures, tracking absence, without addressing the cause directly. Every pause in movement is charged, signaling intent to those who can read it. Rifles are shouldered, eyes fixed, calculating distance to key points of control. Officials confer privately, shifting posture as rumors of coordination reach them. Local militia returns fire where identification is impossible. Hesitation replaced by instinct. Authority fractures subtly, cracks forming in routine. Tension, unspoken but visible. Captured messengers are questioned on the torchlight, faces forced upward, answers measured carefully. Silence becomes a deliberate tactic, communication through omission and gesture. Courthouse doors swing again, officials adjusting posture, reassessing control without acknowledging the threat. Public spaces are monitored, not for immediate danger, but for patterns suggesting leverage. Neighborhood observers record positions, noting weapon types, facial recognition, and stance. Orders dissolve into reaction, authority responding to movements rather than intentions. Executions and threats are planned as signals, yet actual confrontation is deferred. Black organizers remain largely unseen, their presence inferred through institutional responses. Church leaders are quietly vetted, monitored, and assigned roles that limit independent action. Tools and weapons circulate through trusted hands, each transfer deliberate and silent. Officials convene debating scale, precedent, and containment without clear resolution. Neighborhoods adjust movement, patterns altered subtly, testing for surveillance and reaction. Letters are delivered, messages encoded in the absence, in timing, in gaze. Every gesture carries meaning. Who moves? Who observes? Who stands aside? The courthouse square becomes a stage where power is negotiated through posture and presence. Ledger entries note property, individuals, movements, yet omit cause and agency. Fear moves silently through streets, absorbed into procedure and protocol. Riders report, officials respond, yet the narrative remains untold publicly. Resistance is measured, recorded, and interpreted through the lens of authority. Children learn caution without instruction, memorizing the boundaries imposed on daily life. Every decision is visual. Who opens a door? Who raises a weapon? Who retreats? Patrols increase, scanning shadows, yet movements of black organizers shift faster than observation. Legislators draft laws under pressure, pens scratching late into the night, codifying previous failures. Local leaders rehearse coordination, every step tested against institutional expectations. Communication is silent. Historis precis, every signal carrying consequence. Documents appear in the background, noted but not central to action. Every adult is trained to read tension in posture, alignment, and gaze. Authorities assume control remains when reality begins to contradict expectations. Bodies move deliberately through alleys, hedges, and streets, unseen, yet fully aware. Officials issue commands with clipped words, gestures sharper than their tone suggests. Patterns repeat, with variation. Every repetition, measured for weakness and opportunity. A new writer delivers word of external observers monitoring the courthouse from a distance. Leverage shifts subtly as each side interprets the other's movements, weight, and presence. Instruction manuals and previous orders are ignored in favor of real-time adjustment. A door opens, closes, and signals are passed through eye contact rather than sound. Riders dismount silently, scanning for immediate threats and observing reactions. Families are passive witnesses, unaware that each gesture carries strategic weight. Officials note departures, absences, and presence, mapping unseen networks. Church bells continue, marking not hours, but coordination points for dispersed actors. Every visible action is mirrored by counteractions. Authority unaware of the full scope. Letters, notes, and ledgers serve as context, not as the driver of movement. The belief in simple compliance begins to crack under observation of coordinated preparation. Militia responds reflexively, often reacting to shadows rather than substance. Tools are tested, rebalanced, and repurposed. Strategy embedded in weight and motion. A single individual steps forward, posture measured, gaze fixed, signaling readiness. Officers shift positions subtly, scanning for leverage, adjusting hierarchy through movement. Every pause is loaded. Expectation, potential confrontation, tactical calculation. Rumors spread faster than official orders. Every whisper carries an implied consequence. Orders cascade downward. Responses become immediate, often uncoordinated, and authority is overextended. Documentation continues, noting numbers and outcomes, ignoring cause or coordination. Power is challenged without confrontation. Influence exercised through planning and anticipation. Surveillance increases, yet organized presence remains one step ahead, invisible but influential. Families learn to adapt, adjusting posture and attention, reading tension like instruction. Officials debate containment, scale, and precedent, each conversation informed by visible resistance. Courts revise protocols quietly, anticipating disruption, codifying reaction into procedure. Patrols and armed men circulate, scanning shadows, unaware that leverage has shifted. Church gatherings are monitored, leaders vetted, and messages interpreted through tone and timing. Children observe patterns, committing lessons to memory without spoken instruction. Rifles, tools, and gestures communicate intent and preparation silently. Every interaction is a test. Who reacts? Who hesitates? Who leverages position? Authority assumes continuity. The presence of coordinated opposition undermines expectation. Militia reacts reflexively. Adjustments made through instinct rather than intelligence. Ledger entries record events, but fail to account for human agency and coordination. Every observed movement reshapes perception, forcing micro-adjustments in command and posture. Riders relay intelligence. Responses cascade, revealing cracks in control. Power appears stable until examined through synchronized human presence. Strategic positions are occupied. Every line of sight accounted for. Every angle monitored. Orders are issued. Movement observed. Reaction measured, or without public notice. Documentation, correspondency, and protocol reflect anticipation, not cause. Officials act collectively, yet each is blindsided by calculated presence and initiative. Bodies convey knowledge, strategy, and awareness where words cannot. Children and adults alike learn the choreography of tension, anticipation, and observation. Authority interprets absence in action, yet fails to grasp coordinated leverage. The first moments of confrontation approach subtly, without notice, and with no overt escalation. Actions unfold as consequence, not spectacly, each step building visual tension. Every human face in the square communicates intent, strategy, and response. Orders dissolve into anticipation, authority adjusting reactively rather than proactively. Leverage accumulates through silent observation and calculated presence. Power begins to fracture in minor gestures, subtle corrections, and unnoticed signals. Riders, clerks, and militia synchronize action without explicit instruction. Every entrance, exit, and gesture carries significance, reshaping hierarchy in real time. Authority interprets what it sees, often too late, as human presence drives escalation. Tools, weapons, and gestures communicate readiness and coordination silently. Families and bystanders witnessed without awareness, lights casting long shadows over the action. Officials adjust, strategize, anticipate, yet leverage has shifted beyond their perception. Micro-confrontations unfold. A hand raised, a glance, a door closed decisively. Power relies on assumption. Assumption falters under observation and coordination. Every movement is a test of control. Every response, a measure of authority. Riders deliver messages. Officials interpret selectively, missing the full scope of coordination. The courthouse square, homes, and streets become a stage for silent negotiation. Every visible figure conveys intent, strategy, and resistance through posture and motion. Patterns emerge, repetition minimized, tension escalating without resolution. Authority acts institutionally, yet human presence dictates outcome. Every pause, glance, and adjustment shifts balance, creating imperceptible leverage. Families adjust behavior instinctively, and children learn lessons without instruction. Orders cascade, reactions measured, hierarchy shifting imperceptibly but undeniably. Documentation ignores cause, emphasizes enforcement and reaction over strategy and presence. Power appears uninterrupted until subtle coordination challenges the assumption. Leverage moves silently through calculation, anticipation, and coordinated positioning. Authority interprets, reacts, and adjusts, often lagging behind human initiative. Observation and presence become instruments of influence, reshaping command without confrontation. Every gesture, stance, and expression contributes to escalation, tension, mounting continuously. Micro-cliffhangers emerge, new riders, new positions, subtle shifts in posture. Every interaction is layered with consequence, visible to some, invisible to others. The first signs of modern consequence ripple through education, media, and public memory. Authority assumes restoration of order. Continuity masks human presence and strategy. Documentation continues, but the historical narrative will later erase coordination and agency. The event escalates. Unresolved human leverage visible. Authority adjusting reactively. Surveillance, patrols, and observation intensify, yet coordinated presence remains ahead. Actions unfold incrementally. Tension building without explicit confrontation. Hierarchy shifting subtly. Every human figure, weapon, gesture, and glance carries implication. Authority faltering subtly. Micro-conflicts cascade, each introducing new character, new action, new response. Patterns repeat subtly. Escalation continuous. Visual tension increasing with every movement. Authority codifies procedure, yet human presence dictates real-time consequence. Every observed motion, gesture, and stance contributes to the hierarchy's instability. The courthouse square and surrounding streets become a theater of silent negotiation. Every minor action, glance, and shift in posture adds to cumulative tension. The event escalates forward, unresolved, consequence imminent, historical narrative silent. Riders move through alleys, observing shadows, adjusting formations silently. A courthouse window reflects faces, tension evident in the jaw and posture. Militia shifts positions, anticipating movement before it happens. Calculations visible in stance. Officials confer behind doors, gestures clipped, voices lowered, maps irrelevant. A black organizer signals subtly, a small hand movement conveying strategic instruction. Armed men pivot, adjusting for unseen threats, rifles resting lightly yet ready. Families watch lamps flicker, unaware that each gesture carries the weight of consequence. The sheriffs have steps forward, posture rigid, scanning streets, eyes missing subtle shifts. Every glance between militia members communicates intent and awareness of hierarchy. Tools are tested, grips adjusted, and weight redistributed for effectiveness in action. Riders report positions, authorities adjust, micro-actions cascading into layered anticipation. Doors close quietly, signaling readiness, authority interpreting absence as compliance. A single messenger pauses, breath broken, delivering intelligence that shifts calculations. Officials debate containment, nodding subtly, unaware that human leverage has shifted. The first shots are implied, echoing in movement, not depicted, authority reacting instantly. Micro-confrontations unfold. One figure steps forward, posture firm, gaze unwavering. Rifles are shouldered, weapons repositioned, movements precise, calibrated for effect. A clerk adjusts pen and ledger, noting presence without commenting acting on cause. Shadows shift. Alleyways fill with coordinated bodies, unseen but fully aware. Authority moves reactively. Orders issued in fragments. Hierarchy bending under human initiative. Communications silent. Gestures, glances, spacing, signaling intent to allies. Families shift quietly. Children observing patterns, learning boundaries and tactics. The courthouse square becomes a theater of anticipation. Movements layered with consequence. Riders dismount, scanning, ready for instruction. Posture, conveying readiness. Militia positions adjust, leveraging angles, coordinating through subtle visual cues. Officials issue commands, response fragmented, authority faltering under invisible leverage. Every entrance, exit, and glance contributes to the cumulative shift in power. Black organizers remain largely unseen. Leverage inferred through action, not words. Observation and anticipation govern every move. Authority reacts, never dictates. Micro cliffhangers appear, new riders, new observers, new calculations. Tension rising. A single figure crosses the square, posture measured, signaling readiness. Authority tools shift from labor to defense. Grips firm, movements deliberate. Militia reacts subtly, micro adjustments, lining with unseen coordination. Officials adjust postures, gestures clipped, commands incomplete, hierarchy strained. Every micro action carries visual weight. Posture, gaze, weapon, stance, alignment. Families continue passive observation, unaware of strategic coordination shaping outcome. Communication through gesture dominates. Every glance or tilt of the head conveys instruction. Orders cascade. Fragmented, reactionary. Authority struggling to anticipate the next move. Riders relay intelligence. Movement shifts. Authority recalculates. Hierarchy bends. Tools tested. Positions adjusted. Every stance conveying awareness, leverage, and anticipation. The courthouse facade reflects movement. Shadows layered with coordination. Tension mounting. Officials react collectively, yet individually misinterpret micro-actions, and adjustments are delayed. Micro-conflicts emerge. Glance, step, gesture, shift in stance. Tension, escalating. Presence dictates consequence. Authority anticipates, but fails to control fully. Every human figure communicates intent through posture, alignment, and families, children, and observers witness patterns unconsciously, learning strategies through observation. Authority codifies procedure, yet real-time presence dictates unfolding outcome. Leverage accumulates silently, hierarchical structure bending under coordinated observation. Every door, window, and street corner occupied strategically, anticipation layered. Officials misread timing, misinterpret micro-gestures, adjust reactively, and consequences multiply. Riders spybot, messaging coordinated, every subtle movement, escalating tension without action. Micro cliffhangers continue. New observers, new gestures, new shifts in posture. Tools grip adjusted, weights shifted, alignment optimized for defensive leverage. Courthouse Square transformed into a visual map of human leverage, authority responding incrementally. Every minor movement builds cumulative consequence, unseen by formal authority. Families adjust silently, movements measured, boundaries learned, and anticipation internalized. Orders fragmented, reactions layered, authority struggling to interpret visible coordination. Black organizers leveraged position, movement, and visual cues. Authority anticipates incorrectly. Riders and militia synchronize through gesture, gaze, and stance. Microactions dictate outcome. Officials confer, gestures clipped, decisions tentative, hierarchy subtly collapsing under human presence. Every glance communicates intention, alignment, coordination. Authority reacts with delay. Microactions ripple, stance, step, tilt, pause, gaze, weapon, position. Escalating visual tension. Courthouse walls reflect shadowed figures. Coordination visible through movement, not words. Families are passive. Children are observers, learning structure and control through subtle demonstration. Authority assumes compliance. Real-time coordination dismantles assumed hierarchy. Micro cliffhangers. New figure, new movement, new calculation. Escalation continuous. Presence dominates. Authority bends reactively. Leverage accumulates. Imperceptibly, but irreversibly. Riders report militia adjusts. Positions recalibrated. Subtle human advantage shifting outcome. Officials issue partial commands. Gestures misaligned. Hierarchy bending under calculated presence. Tools, gestures, and stances communicate strategy, anticipation, and coordinated leverage silently. Every minor action contributes to a cumulative shift in power. Visual tension escalating. Observation and anticipation govern all movements. Authority miscalculates and reacts too late. Families adapt subtly. Microactions observed. Patterns learned through passive witness. Every doorway, alley, and window is utilized strategically. Authority responding in fragments. Micro cliffhangers, new riders, histories, stances, positions, escalating anticipation. Leverage accumulates. Hierarchy bending under calculated, coordinated human presence. Authority codifies procedure, yet presence dictates outcome. Microactions decisive. Every glance, stance, and motion layered with consequence. Hierarchy subtly collapsing. Tools shift weight. Posture adjusted. Movement precise. Anticipation guiding action. Courthouse Square becomes a theater of human leverage. Visual tension continuous, uninterrupted. Officials react. Orders fragmented. Hierarchy bending under calculated observation. Escalation unbroken. Presence dominates authority. Anticipation dictates outcome. Consequences unfolding silently. Every gesture, stance, glance accumulates. Microactions dictating hierarchy. Tension unrelenting. Families observe quietly. Children learning coordination, boundaries, and anticipation unconsciously. Micro cliffhangers. New figure, stance, gesture, position, escalation, unrelenting. Tools, rifles, and bodies communicate leverage visually. Authority responding, reactively. Hierarchy bending. Every action layered with consequence. Anticipation, dictating response. Escalation, visual and continuous. Riders, militia, organizers, coordinate silently. Authority reacts imperfectly. Hierarchy fracturing. Presence dictates outcome. Microactions accumulate. Authority struggling. Escalation, uninterrupted. Every doorway, window, and street becomes a site of visual leverage. Tension, continuous. Officials adjust posture. Misread gesture. Reaction delayed. Leverage accumulates. Power subtly shifting. Microactions. Ripple, glance, step, tilt, stance, gaze, wait, escalation, persistent. Families are passive observers. Children internalize patterns, boundaries, and coordination through witness. Authority assumes order. Real-time human presence undermines the assumption. Escalation continuous. Micro cliffhangers. New movements, histories, positions, anticipation tension. Unbroken tools, posture, and gaze communicate strategy silently. Authority reacts, hierarchy bending. Every minor movement layered with consequence. Anticipation dictating response. Visual tension escalating. Courthouse Square transformed into a visual stage of leverage. Escalation continuous. Hierarchy bending. Officials misinterpret. Adjust reactively. Presence dictates outcome. Tension unrelenting. Riders, militia, organizers coordinate microactions. Authority misaligned, hierarchy fracturing. Every gesture, stance, and movement accumulates. Visual tension continuous. Escalation unbroken. Presence dominates authority. Anticipation guides outcome. Microactions decisive. Families adapt silently. Children learn coordination, and observation is internalized unconsciously. Micro cliffhangers. New figure, stance, gesture, position, escalation, persistent. Leverage accumulates. Hierarchy bends. Authority misaligned. Tension continuous. Tools, bodies, and gestures communicate anticipation and strategy. Authority responds imperfectly. Every doorway, window, and street corner is utilized strategically, and visual tension is mounting. Officials react. Orders fragmented. Hierarchy bending. Escalation persistent. Presence dictates consequence. Microactions accumulate. Authority falters. Tension continues. Riders, militia, organizers coordinate silently. Leverage shifts. Hierarchy microactions ripple. Glance, step, tilt, stance, wait. Visual tension unbroken. Families observe. Children internalize patterns, coordination, and anticipation unconsciously. Authority assumes order, yet real-time human presence dictates outcome. Escalation continuous. Tools, posture, gestures, and rifles communicate leverage visually. Authority reacts. Hierarchy bends. Every action layered with consequence. Anticipation dictates response. Escalation uninterrupted. Courthouse Square is a stage of human leverage, with visual tension continuous, hierarchy fracturing. Officials misinterpret, adjust, reactively. Presence dictates outcome. Escalation relentless. Micro cliffhangers. New movements, histories, positions, anticipation tension unbroken. Riders, militia, organizers coordinate microactions. Authority misaligned. Hierarchy fracturing. Presence dominates authority. Anticipation guides outcome. Microactions decisive. Families are passive observers. Children internalize coordination and strategy through observation. Every gesture, stance, movement accumulates. Visual tension continuous. Escalation unrelenting. Riders, militia, and organizers maintain coordination. Authority falters. Hierarchy bending subtly. Tools, posture, and gestures communicate leverage. Anticipation dictates response. Escalation unbroken. Courthouse Square transformed. Presence dictates consequence. Authority reacts imperfectly. Tension continuous. Officials adjust reactively. Hierarchy bending. Microactions accumulate. Escalation persistent. Presence dominates authority. Anticipation drives outcome. And microactions are decisive. Families observe silently, and children internalize coordination unconsciously. Micro cliffhangers. New figure, stance, gesture, position, tension, unbroken. Leverage accumulates. Hierarchy bending. Authority misaligned. Escalation continuous. Tools, bodies, gestures. Communicate strategy visually. Authority responds imperfectly. Hierarchy fracturing. Every doorway, window, and street corner is utilized strategically. Visual tension mounts. Officials react. Orders fragmented. Hierarchy bending. Escalation relentless. Presence dictates consequence. Microactions accumulate. Authority falters. Tension continues. Riders, militia, organizers coordinate silently. Leverage shifts. Hierarchy fracturing. Microactions ripple. Glance, step, tilt, stance, weight. Visual tension unbroken. Families observe. Children internalize patterns, coordination, and anticipation unconsciously. Authority assumes order, yet human presence dictates outcome. Escalation continuous. Tools, posture, gestures, rifles communicate leverage. Authority reacts. Hierarchy bending. Every action layered with consequence. Anticipation dictates response. Escalation uninterrupted. Courthouse Square is a stage of human leverage, with visual tension continuous. Hierarchy fracturing. Officials misinterpret, adjust reactively. Presence dictates outcome. Escalation relentless. Micro cliffhangers. New movements. Histories. Positions. Anticipation tension unbroken.